You want to learn Polish words, and you want to memorize them fast. You wish you could somehow copy the vocabulary from the entire textbook into your head, starting from the most important, the most useful, and possibly the easiest ones, so you can quickly feel the progress. And if only during an actual conversation in Polish, you could make the right words keep coming to your head at the right moments. Well, if that's what you need, I might just have a solution for you. Hello, my name is Maciek. As a teenager, I was a successful English language learner. People often attributed my success to factors such as talent, special linguistic aptitude, or simply young age. However, I didn't really feel any different from other teenagers back then, and now, when I'm in my mid-40s, I can still learn foreign languages quickly and efficiently. Despite my early successes as a learner, when I became a teacher, I really struggled to find a reliable way for my own students to maintain the pace of their learning and to really control their progress, own their progress, especially outside the classroom. I wanted to create a convenient sort of vocabulary learning expressway, something that would foster individual progress between classes, or for example during holiday seasons. I was also seeking a solution that would reduce the time required for vocabulary revisions during lessons. I wanted to empower my students and help them make the best of the invested time and reach their milestones faster than others. The chief problem was not the Common European Framework of Reference, CEFR, nor was it the choice of a particular Polish language course book. In fact, the CEFR is very useful as a point of reference. Learners want to know more or less where they are with their progress, whereas authors and publishers need to structure their content to properly address and balance all main language skills: grammar, vocabulary, listening, reading, speaking, and writing. However, I came to realize most course books were not optimized, not tailored for autonomous learning, and certain recommendations formulated within the CEFR required more attention, especially learner autonomy, as well as understanding the learning process, self-reflection, and learning to learn. In a research article entitled "Do Classroom Textbooks Promote Learner Autonomy?", the authors report that teachers may expect popular textbooks published by major publishers to present the state-of-the-art in language teaching, but this clearly does not extend to skills for self-directed learning. So, what did I do? I reconsidered my past successes as a learner, took out my notes, my certificates, and analyzed my progress year after year, milestone after milestone. And that's when I had my big aha moment. Well, each time I could effectively accelerate my learning, I relied on a tool or a strategy that allowed me to kind of pull off and break away from the regular slow motion educational traffic and start driving autonomously at my own preferred pace. What is more, I came to realize that these solutions could be combined to form a powerful synergy. Let me share the 3 ingredients of successful vocabulary learning with you. My number 1 are spaced repetition systems, or SRS, that help you to plan your revisions based on your feedback. A computer program will try to remind you about a certain word or expression just in time to make sure you don't forget it. There are many available options on the software market. Personally, I have been a fan of the SuperMemo application ever since the early 1990s. But you need to find out what works best for you. For my own product, I decided to go with the Mochi Cards app because of its flexibility, interface, and most importantly, the ability to link items of knowledge. Which brings me to my point number 2. Meaningful learning. When I was in my early 20s, as a trainee teacher, I incorporated various memory strategies to optimize my own learning. However, I could not guarantee that the strategies I used, such as rhyming patterns, rhythm, and chanting, gestures or funny associations, would be applicable to other people. After all, we're all different. We represent different styles, and we have different experiences of life. I needed something that would work for everybody. There are various memory games, board games, matching games, competitive activities relying on general associations such as words with similar meanings, opposite meanings, finding what items have in common, and so on. Try to think of something red, for example. You can think of a red rose, red wine, or perhaps red velvet if you like cakes. These are the associations that a lot of people can share and understand. And it has been scientifically proven that apart from optimizing the frequency of repetitions, relatability and significance help you memorize words. Already in 1964, Ozubel stated that people of all ages have little use for rote, mechanistic learning that is not related to existing knowledge and experience. Most items are acquired by anchoring and relating new items and experiences to knowledge that exists in the cognitive framework. In other words, people like to connect new material to what they already know. H. Douglas Brown, in his book Principles of Language Learning and Teaching, admits that linguistic research has placed emphasis on the role of frequency in language acquisition. But consider the power of meaningfulness, importance, significance, and relatability in the eventual retention, memorization of cognitive items. These days, while I'm learning a foreign language, I always keep a pen or pencil ready and, apart from a regular dictionary, I use a semantic database, a so-called WordNet, to find and activate as many relevant associations as possible. A Polish WordNet is available online, so you don't have to learn isolated words, but understand the relations and connections between items. As a result, your learning will become more meaningful, even though the context will remain limited. It will become easier for you to retrieve groups of words from memory, so it will seem like you're more fluent than your current proficiency level might suggest. And most of all, you will eventually save your time in the long run by stepping out of the linear word-by-word learning and embracing the lexicon as a meaningful network. But how do we know where to begin and where to continue? This brings me to my number 3. As a graduate student specializing in applied linguistics and foreign language teaching methodology, I became interested in psycholinguistics, cognitive linguistics, and the neural theory of language. Basically, the areas of study linking the mind and language. I have found plenty of evidence supporting meaningful learning, categorizing, grouping words, and thinking in terms of similarities or contrasts, for example. Things that I talked about in number 2. I also learned the concept of the basic level in categorization. Look at the following English words: mammal, dog, puppy. Which do you think is the one that English learners usually memorize first? Well, it's normally the word dog. It's the basic level word, the level that is preferred in naming by adults, the first level learned by children, and the level at which adults can categorize most rapidly. The word dog is concrete, but not too specific. As a result, it is easy to imagine, and it is applicable to a wide spectrum of communicative situations. Let me show you how this works while you're trying to memorize the Polish vocabulary. One of the most common topics is food, and one of the basic level words to introduce as first would be zupa, meaning soup. Later, you can learn more specific types of soups, such as rosół, chicken soup, barszcz, beetroot soup, and various collocations, combinations of words that can be created with our basic level word zupa, such as the famous zupa pomidorowa, tomato soup. Once you have mastered these concrete terms, it's time to go to the higher, more abstract level to give the category a label, such as danie, dish or course, or potrawa, also meaning a dish. We can also learn the top-level abstract term jedzenie, food. Let me present another example, the basic level word sklep, meaning a shop. Again, it is concrete enough to be imagined, but simultaneously general enough to represent a variety of locations and businesses. The next stage would be to learn the various types of shops, such as apteka, the drugstore or chemists, księgarnia, bookshop, or sklep spożywczy, grocers. Once again, notice that our basic word may occur in popular collocations, combinations of words. Next, we may consider memorizing more abstract terms like firma or przedsiębiorstwo, company, business, to complete the hierarchy of words related to business, which is the Polish word for business. I studied books and articles on the topic. I wanted to know how I can identify the basic words, apart from perhaps asking a large number of native speakers. And then I came across a research paper published in China, which specified 3 simple criteria. Number 1, the length and the complexity of a word. Number 2, the frequency or popularity. And finally, productivity, meaning how many more specific words can be created using the basic one. The article was not about foreign language learning. It was about assessing readability of texts, but you can clearly feel the potential here. Which words to learn first? The ones that are short, popular, and productive. They will allow you to label categories in your mind, arrange your knowledge, and avoid problems with pronunciation or spelling simply because you would start with the simplest, shortest forms. To summarize, if you want to learn Polish vocabulary fast, you need to select your preferred spaced repetition software, then make sure you keep track of the relations between words, and you need to be able to identify basic level vocabulary items. Yes, I know it may feel like I'm not making it easy for you. It took a lot of time for me to understand and combine the factors behind my success. In fact, some of my own notes come from over 10 years ago when I started experimenting and building simple scripts. I wanted to build effective foreign language learning solutions and demystify learning Polish as a foreign language. Over the years, I also tried a number of various apps and other solutions just to see if they offered anything innovative. Something I should learn about and consider in my own solutions. But let me be honest with you. You don't need dozens of apps. You don't need multiple courses. You need a tool based on scientific evidence and relying on universal principles. An actual vehicle of progress, not a toy. Even though I'm a big fan of gamification and a sense of fun in language learning. Additionally, you need a solution that would be compatible with the content of the major course books. I am proud to introduce the effect of my work. A Polish vocabulary learning solution called Polish App, which builds on the 3 elements I have told you about. I have taken the concept of a flashcard and took it to a whole new level. It comes in 3 versions. Each of them contains over 99.5% of the vocabulary found in a leading and regularly updated course book in Polish as a foreign language that I have been using since 2013. Each version features pronunciations and a system of tags that allows you to quickly switch between categories. All versions of Polish app provide basic grammatical properties such as the gender of nouns. There are dedicated templates for nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs. I also added a large collection of other words and useful expressions. Last but not least, each flashcard set follows the order of presentation based on the length, productivity and popularity of particular words. My flashcard sets are hosted inside the Mochi Cards app, so it doesn't matter what computer or mobile operating system you use, macOS or Windows, Android or iOS, as well as Linux. The operator version is the simplest one. The course loads very fast and is perfect for people who simply want to revise Polish vocabulary before an exam. It's great for people who need simplicity and the minimum of information. For learners who want a closer integration between vocabulary and grammar, there is the leader version, which features plural forms of nouns, including the genitive plural, gendered forms of adjectives, comparative and superlative forms of both adjectives and adverbs, and, last but not least, the first and second person forms of verbs, in both the imperfective and perfective aspects. So you can speak of actions in progress or repeated actions, as well as the completed ones. Finally, there is the expert version that I'm most proud of. It contains everything that I personally need in a flashcard-based vocabulary course. It has got everything that the leader course has, plus thousands of relations. Think of them as links between individual flashcards. On the beginner level alone, I have added 5,000 relations existing between over 3,000 words. Scroll down, read about the product, and select the version that best suits your needs. You can buy with confidence. I believe in my product. I'm sure you will find it helpful, and I believe in my mission to make Polish as a language appear more learner-friendly and approachable. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. I really appreciate it. And I would be more than happy to welcome you as a user of Polish app.